A major mea culpa from Trump's favorite channel. The right-wing network One America News forced to backtrack on a salacious story involving two of the biggest players in Trump's hush money trial, Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen. So for weeks, OAN has been spreading this bogus story that Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, had a sexual relationship with Stormy Daniels and then secretly used that to extort the Trump Organization. So I guess this is their whole way of explaining the payments. OAN is now retracting this story after Cohen hired an attorney. The network says it, quote unquote, regrets publishing the false allegations. But since the start of the trial, OAN has been saying things supportive of Trump. Just listen to what they've put on the air.
I'm almost just running out of steam. Every damn day I have to bring up these 6, 7 different trials and the BS that's being thrown at Trump from all of these nefarious actors. We have a corrupt judge, a corrupt DA, and a corrupt jury panel.
Corrupt jury panel. I mean, all right, our experts are all here with me. So, Ryan, let me just start with you, though, on this story that they have been running about, saying Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels. That was the whole sordid affair. That's why Cohen would have, I guess, taken out the home equity, the HELOC, and the whole thing, right? It's false. They've now retracted it. How could this story affect the jury?
Well, it could get to the jurors one way or another, either directly that the jurors are exposed to the story or that their friends, colleagues, family members are exposed to it. And they say, oh, do you hear about this? And they maybe overhear the story indirectly. And I think that's really awful because it really would be indicting, in a certain sense, the credibility of two of the star witnesses in the trial under completely bogus conspiracy theory that has it's not like it's just bogus, it has no connection, as far as we understand it, to any facts. So that's what's really bad about it and its timing.
No, I mean, it's like it's completely made up. I mean, if that were the sort of thing that anyone could find a connection to, they would have done so a long time ago, Joe. I mean, right, they're not retracting it because it's false.
So without question. So the law and then the practicality, and right? The law is the judge obviously instructs the jury repeatedly, right? You're not to talk about it. You're not to listen to any news reports. You're to disregard anything and everything until or unless you come into the courtroom and it's out of the mouths of witnesses. And so the essence of any trial is to focus on the merits of testimony. That's the legal reality. The practical reality is you can't unring a rung bell. The reality is people, right? I mean, they hear things, and no matter what the judge says, you should disregard. And then there's the other problem, Aaron. If you then poll the jury and say, hey, did you hear about this story? Now you're infecting them with information they may not be cognizant of. So the judge has to be very careful if it's brought up of how to resolve the issue. But at the end of the day, the case should be about what happens in the courtroom and nothing else.
All right, so Barbara, former Trump Organization executive, right? You worked with Trump for decades, author of Tower of Lies, which you wrote about your time working with Trump. So this story comes out at this moment. Trump's been told by the judge he cannot go after jurors or witnesses, right? These gag order alleged violations are mounting up day by day. So you take all of that and what's happening here at OAN, and you come up with what?
Trump came up with that idea. He told them to write it, and they did. I mean, I've seen him do this so many times. He'd get mad at somebody for saying one thing or another, and he'd create a story. One in particular stands out in my mind of a famous developer who Trump said his wife was calling him and chasing him, and it got printed in newspapers. I mean, it was just because that's the kind of control he had.
So you think this is something he would have just via someone got in with that?
Yeah.
Van?
Well, I mean, this is it's the kind of dirty stuff that he does. I mean, I really think that we're getting used to stuff that is awful to get used to. I mean, it's kind of like mafioso kind of tactics. I mean, it's like John Gotti's running for president or whatever. He's going to dirty up this witness, tamper with the. This is the kind of stuff that, to me, makes him should make him ineligible to be president. But a lot of people, by the way, do listen to OAN because they think Fox is too liberal. He has drugged the country so far into the ditch that there are people who think that Fox is too liberal because they, have acknowledged that, at least some of their people on here have acknowledged that Trump lost the election. So that's too liberal. So they go into the ditch here with the OAN.
So, Barbara, this comes ahead of back in court tomorrow, so everyone's going to be back in, the jury. Michael Cohen's banker is going to be back on the stand. So this is the person who set up the LLCs to create all these payments and can talk to the exact days that it happened leading into the election and, the timing in terms of influencing the election. So Trump was straight ahead with his eyes closed on Friday, late in the day, when this banker started his testimony. So what do you anticipate the impact of this testimony is on Trump?
You know, how is Trump taking all of this? That is a very, very good question. People are saying now, for the first time in his life, he's actually afraid. And I'm not so sure about that. I think he's actually just more angry than he ever was, that people set him up to let this happen. But Trump always got away with everything, and I'm not sure that there's any reason that he would change his total belief in his ability to do that. So I don't think, I think he's angry as hell, but I think that he will.
You don't buy the fear.
No, and I don't think he'll hold back. It's, you know, he'll be on the borderline of breaking the rules, and they'll let him get away with it.
So another legal case right in the center of politics and networks. Hunter Biden's lawyers now say that they're threatening to sue Fox News. The 14-page letter that we've gotten, they're demanding that the network Fox News remove the sexually explicit images of Hunter Biden. They're saying that it violates revenge porn laws in many states, and that they say Fox knows these private images were hacked, stolen, and/or manipulated. Is that a good legal case?
So I think they might have a strong legal case in that part of the letter. And if you look at Delaware law, for example, it seems to match the allegations here, which is that Fox is knowingly reproducing sexual images that are private and that they should know were not able to be distributed with the person's consent. So that's the problem for Fox News. And that's Delaware. That's the state in which they're incorporated. That's the state in which they were sued by Dominion, and successfully so.
Right, and massively so.
Massively so, nearly over $700 million.
Yeah.
And Delaware's probably a favorable state to the Biden family in some regards. So I think I think they'd have to calculate all of that, and maybe they need to issue a retraction or at least pull down those images.
What do you think Fox will do?
I mean, they better do something unless you want to shell out another significant judgment. The reality is you have to be careful. You just can't say anything you want. I know that politicians sometimes do that, but you have a special obligation. And when you spout falsehoods or you have materials that were not consented to, it could constitute revenge porn. And the other issue is it's not only a civil issue, it's a criminal issue. There are criminal statutes throughout this country that speak to the issue of revenge porn. So if you have these images, they're altered in some way, they're exposing certain body parts and you're doing it, I mean, why? And so yes, in the event that there's a lawsuit, I think it has merit, and I think it could result, if it goes to a lawsuit, a significant judgment.
And Van, you know, they're also asking for, you know, certain actions be taken against anchors at the network who have talked about the issue with Hunter Biden, the bribery charges. Even if Hunter Biden succeeds in some way of getting Fox to retract or change or anything that they've said, does that do anything for President Biden, Joe Biden, politically in this election?
Well, I think not much because, to be honest, the people who care about Hunter Biden and know who he is and are following this are already going to vote against Joe Biden anyway. So even if Hunter Biden is able to, you know, redeem himself somehow, it's not those people are going to say, oh, well, never mind, now I'm going to go vote for Joe Biden. If you were deep down the rabbit hole on Hunter Biden at all, you are already voting for Donald Trump. So but I do think it's important, though, for Fox to keep getting dinged and for other of these propaganda outfits to keep getting dinged in the courts and having to pay for it reputationally and otherwise, because it's not fair for this cult around Donald Trump to consume half of America's media and have people just getting, you know, attacked, and you're sicking massive media on people who have no recourse except through the courts. So I'm glad that he's fighting back, but it won't affect the election.
All right. Thank you all.